going to pass the mic over now to Halim. Hi, Halim. Thanks for your patience. You have the floor. 3 minutes, please. Hello, Halim.
Yeah, good morning. Good afternoon. I don't know what the time is. Thank you very much. I've heard so many things everybody has been saying, and really, it's just a sad one. Nigeria has happened to me in so many ways, but yeah, I've not lost a loved one, like the way some people here have. Just to give I don't even know where to start from, but just to give a summary, right? The first time I got a hit of to see how corrupt Nigeria was during my NYSC. So I had, let me don't mention the state. So I was posted to Central Bank, and then there was a meeting we had with the governor based on the place I was working, the particular person I was working with, and then the governor was complaining. The then governor who just joined, who just entered, was complaining about the large number of ghost workers, that they are looking for a way to take those people out of the system. He was complaining about the increase in cost. So on top of my head, I thought of it and I said, this is a simple thing. This is something one can easily provide solution over, right? And then what I decided to do was to come up and quickly register the company, and then came up with this idea of Tom attendance machine, which is a simple thing anybody can actually just do in order to filter out ghost workers. So we submitted this proposal the to government house, and because I wanted to do that, I had to move from CBN to Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. So I did a transfer, and somehow it was successful. Then I moved to that Ministry of Works and Infrastructure because I needed to push that particular project. And in order to execute that project for all government parastatals, the project from our costing was about 90 million naira. And then what we put, the profit margin was about 10 million or so. So everything was about 100 and something million naira. So to cut the long story short, we pushed the project moved from different hands to another, and then somehow we're cut off the entire process. And then when I finished when I finished my NYC, I started working, and then somebody called me because the people in Ministry of Works, they knew I was pushing the project, and they knew how they've also contributed in trying as much as possible to push the project. So somebody called me and told me, Copper, how far? You've forgotten about us. You got this contract and you did not even come to buy drinks for us. And I said, the last time I checked, they've not gotten back to me since then. And then because I still had some people around some coppers who are still around, and I spoke to one of them. I told them, because everything passes through the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, and said, there's this particular project, I need to know what was the cost and who is the person who was contracted to do this particular project. A project of 105 million was given to a company to do for 690 million. You can see the percentage increase. Also, that was when I knew how corrupt Nigeria is actually. I can remember then when I was also exposed, when I was in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, I was exposed to a lot of documents because I was working in the admin department, and I was looking at a lot of projects which they were executing. And one of those projects, there was something I saw, which was the clearing of Kayama camp, which was the camp which we did our NYC. When I mean clearing of Kayama camp, clearing of the grass in Kayama camp. So this particular contract was awarded for.
I'm sorry, Halim. Please round up in 30 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah, so okay, thank you. So this particular contract was awarded for 65 million naira just to clear the grass. Right, this is a grass that if you should call people, you can clear it in let's say probably less than 500,000 naira. So I just want to expose our mind to the level of corruption that we have currently in Nigeria, and the reason why Nigeria can never move forward if we do not have the right candidates. I love what's going on currently. I love the push for P2P. We should all put our hands together to push for such a person who is going to, at least we need somebody who's going to lock that tap of wastage, so that we'll come back to the drawing board and then see how we can project Nigeria towards the right direction. So many things has happened. If I can keep giving a list of projects or a list of things that we've gone, how money has gone down the drain because of bad government, So, but as of today, there's something I want to tell everybody. Do not allow anybody to silence you in terms of saying that you're violent. The way P2P supporters are doing, they are very violent. No, they are not violent. I can't see. It's not P2P supporters that stops people from to pick up their PVC. We have heard those stories that happened in the West. We've heard those stories that happened in the North also. So we're just matching them with intellectual conversations, and they cannot keep up with it. So they're just falling back to what they can easily do. And now they're using the tribalism card. We should also speak to our people. Everybody is not people. We're not supporting P2B because he's an Igbo man. I'm also not an Igbo man. We're supporting P2B because of the competence which the man has presented to everybody, and we believe he can move Nigeria forward. So let me just yield the mic here so that other people can also speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your submission. Absolutely, competence is the key, not because of his tribe or region. I'm gonna pass the mic over now to Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla. How you doing? Priscilla, are you
Hi,
there?
Pearl. Hi, Pearl. Yes, I am. Thank you. Good afternoon, all. It's so encouraging to listen to this conversation that has gone on for so long. Very quickly, in 2015, I am a broadcast journalist here in the UK. I was one of the few people who was able to get into Chatham House when Buhari visited. I recall asking him a question, and my question stemmed from the fact that in his commentaries before running for president in that time, he always spoke very much in favor of the North. And one of the things he said was, a fight against Boko Haram is a fight against the North. I'm sure some of you will be familiar with that statement. And I remember asking him, if you're saying that you've always told us that a fight against Boko Haram is a fight against the North. Now you're telling us you're going to deal with insecurity. How are you going to do that? What's changed? I remember how Nigerians attacked me, Nigerians here in the diaspora. I'll never forget what transpired on Facebook. I was very much resident on Facebook at that time. I'll never forget, the many things that I experienced, the names that I was called, and those who accused me of having been paid, and those who said it must be because Goodluck is my brother, and so on and so forth. I asked a lot of questions people couldn't answer. So I want to say this to us. During this time of campaign, if you recall, The Economist wrote an article telling us, even though Buhari was once, they called him a dictator, a coupist, even though they thought so, but they thought he was a good idea for Nigeria. The Times wrote an article telling us how wonderful they thought, he would be for Nigeria. So I just want us to bear that in mind, that is going to happen again. Remember, whether we live in Nigeria, we live in the UK, we have spent our entire lives being told black is bad, white is good, to the point that sometimes we struggle to respect each other, to trust one another, to value one another. And because of that, we get carried away whenever we see, these articles written by white journalists and telling us how wonderful it is. We can't buy into this. So many of you have shared some of the most painful stories. Nigeria. Ouch, ouch. So where did we hear up to?
We can't get carried away. And then that was it.
Okay. So what I was saying was that we can't get carried away with the write-ups that we're going to get from, the newspapers abroad that's going to be telling us one thing or the other. At the end of the day, don't forget, we also have to consider the invisible hand that affects us. Whether we live in Nigeria or we live in the UK, we all have to deal with the narrative that says black is bad, white is good. And we have all suffered that narrative. It causes us not to trust each other. It causes us to dislike one another. It causes us, to prefer others over ourselves. We can't afford that anymore. So the energy from the NSARS was absolutely fantastic. It was great to see the love, the togetherness, the unity. That's what's going to carry us through this line. We must not get carried away. There's going to be so many things that is thrown at us. Why I'm coming in to speak is because I just appreciate everybody's ability to stand and make their own choices and refusing to be beaten down, refusing to be told who to vote for and who not to vote for, going with what they believe is their gut feeling, going with the fact that they're saying, this man is speaking our language, this is what we want. And just to see that is so encouraging and so beautiful. And I want to say, well done to all of you. Keep it up. It's going to be a hard fight, because it's not just going to be a fight within Nigeria. It's going to be a fight that also is going to involve the external factors too, that want to see us remain that way. It's a reality. It's not a joke. So don't for 1 minute make the mistake of thinking that when you hear the West sounding as though they're speaking a kind word, that it is genuine. I'm not saying that there aren't good white people. There are. There are good white people that are going through as much as we are. But we must remember that the modus operandus of the government is not for our growth, it's not for our development, it's not for us to go forward. So we must bear that in mind. And if we want a changed Nigeria, nobody's going to come in and do it for us. It's not a matter of calling, oh, let the West get involved, oh, the UK should do this, or the US should do that. No, it's going to take us standing together and fighting our good fight. So I remember asking this question to Nigerians on a program that I did. And I asked the question, how long will it take for us to recover from the damage of this presidency? I didn't even, at the time, the presidency hadn't happened. I didn't know to the extent my statement was going to be a reality, or to the extent of what the damage was going to be. But we're all living it. Fortunately or unfortunately, whether you agreed with it, you didn't agree with it, you're affected. Remember that. Any which way we swing, we're all affected at the end of the day. So let's stand for what we believe to be true. Let's stand for what we believe to be right for our country, what we want to see. Nobody will do it for us. No, no saviors coming from anywhere. It takes you and I. But thank you all so much. Really, really encouraged to see what's happening. I'm still talking. I'll still be asking the questions. I'll still be, wondering, and as much as I can, share whatever I know to be fact and to be true for the, to encourage and to educate those that need to hear it. Thank you so much for this moment. I appreciate it. All the best.
Thank you, Priscilla, and I really appreciate your patience in waiting all these hours to speak here. And thank you for those wonderful words. And I really agree with you. Nobody's going to do it for us. We have to do it by ourselves. I'm going to pass the mic over now to Fisher. Hi, Fisher. Yes, Remy, I see you. After Fisher, you go after Fisher, and then we take Young, and then Willie, and then Chines or Chines. Hi,
Okay.
Fisher. Okay, Fisher is not there. Remy, you have the floor. 3 minutes.
Good day, everyone. I'm happy to be here at this hour. In 2014, I was handling the family business. We had two trucks. We actually produced concrete blocks. 2015, the business was growing. We got another truck. 2016, 2017, when we had the first recession, Nigeria happened to the business. We sold one of the truck. Business wasn't going as usual. 2018, we had to sell the other truck. As I'm speaking right away, we sold the old trucks, trying to sustain the business. What is the reason? The economy. It's like this, the economy has been structured to work against hardworking Nigerians. And it's so unfortunate. Some learned or so-called intellectual set of people out there are still rooting for these people who brought us here. In 2015, we saw, or 2014, we saw how the Jagabans and the Atikus put their weight behind Buhari. Same thing as 2019. Seeing the same Nigerians going through hell, still rooting for them, baffles me a lot. Before I forget, David, I think a guy probably is going to call you any moment from now, from a particular radio station. His name is Kofi Battles. He interviewed Segalink 2 days ago. I think he interviewed Reno as well too. So he's going to interview you anytime soon. Because Segalink was on air and he was spewing gibberish as usual, using the same medium to, the way the guy runs his show. So back to the this movement. I would suggest we come up with a plan. On daily basis, try to speak to 3 people, 4 people. Get their contact. Stay in touch with them.
Is that just me, or did he go
No,
blind?
it's not just you. He went mute. Hi, Remy. Okay.
I think he's having some network issues.
Okay. Maybe we should pass the mic over to the next speaker, and then we can circle back to him. Hi, Willie. Are you there? Willie?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you've got 3 minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak on this space, and I also thank David for organizing this space for us to really talk about Nigeria and how Nigeria affects young people. I remember back in 2015, before the election, I was in 5th year in med school in Enugu, and there were high hopes that Buhari will come in. Things are going to change. There will be discipline in Nigeria. People will not flout traffic rules. Everyone was excited, and I remember then as a student, we look forward to graduating. We had our own many dreams. Okay, when I finish school, there are opportunities, there are jobs, so many things to do. And then we graduated 2016. And for the first time in my life, for me personally, I was looking for a place to do internship. As doctors, when you finish from medical school, you have to compulsorily, you have to do your 1 year internship before you can get your full license. And it was like passing a camel through the eye of a needle. It was difficult. It's not like we have excess doctors or we have doctors in surplus, but these basic simple things were impossible to get. Then I passed through that hurdle, got internship eventually, started my internship, finished it. I started working in a hospital in Port Harcourt. We are talking about the things we lost, the kind of experiences we've had. One day I was doing a weekend shift. They brought a young man in keke, and what was his story? He was a regular hustler. He went to repair someone's car in a keke. He came down at a roundabout and then got hit by a stray bullet. Okay, that's the story. They brought the young man. The bullet hit him in the head, and luckily for him, the young people, the passerbys that saw him brought him to the hospital. But what really got me feeling sad was when police got involved. By the time they came, they did not hear the story. They just labeled him a cultist, that he's a cultist. And I told the police officer, you cannot just, you've not done any investigation. You just heard, what has happened. And you're already labeling this young man a cultist. And, it was a very small facility where I was working. So all we could do at that time was to stabilize him, make sure that he's not losing the much blood he was losing. We're trying to replace with fluid and all that. And then the next thing was to move him to a tertiary hospital where he can have access to neurosurgeons and all of that. But that was impossible to achieve. There was no ambulance to call. There was no even the police guys that came. It's okay. This is now a police case. You guys have to be involved. And eventually, the police guy said, actually, they trekked from their station to this place. They don't even have a vehicle that we can use to convey this guy to a tertiary hospital where this guy can get help. And before our eyes, the guy slipped into unconsciousness. He bled, and I could imagine all the things that were going on in his brain, in his skull. And all the precious time we had to save him, we were losing it, and everyone was rather talking about whether he's a cultist or whether he's not a cultist. It was one of the most disheartening things I've ever experienced in my life as a human being. Nigeria has taken so much away from us that if you see trauma, and we can't even process trauma anymore. Look at what happened at the Lekki toll gate. Like, people are shot, and then we all saw it live on TV, and then they are telling us that what we saw on TV is fake. And then we begin to question ourselves, question our minds, like, am I really sure that I saw this thing I saw? So Nigeria has dealt with us. We've lost. I've lost. So many people talk about losing their innocence. I've lost so much, in a way, empathy, because of the kind of, if our leaders are just pure evil. That's just the best way I can describe them, because when you see how other countries work, how other countries function, and you see that these people go out there, they see these things, but they don't want to bring it home. There is no better way. There is no other way you can describe such a person than to say this person is pure evil. And that is just the best way to describe the kind of experiences we are having. So this is another election year, and luckily for me, I've had an experience with Peter Obi. He came. He was the guest speaker at my induction, and everything he's saying now.
I'm sorry to interject. Really, please land in 30 seconds. Thank you.
Yes. So everything the young man is saying, these are things that he's not a hypocrite. These are things he has done. He has a proven track record. So I want all of us, all young people, to fight. This is the only country we have. This is the only country we have. Let us all fight for Nigeria. There's no one that will say Nigeria has not affected. If it has not affected, it has affected someone your neighbor, someone you were on the same car with, on the same street, someone you live on the same street with. The way we are living is not the way we should live. Thank you so much.
Okay, absolutely. I agree with you. This is not the way we ought to live. We really deserve better. Hi, Chinese. Are you there? Hello, Chinese. Okay, if Chinese is not there, I'm gonna pass the mic over to Justice. Hello, Justice.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Justice. You have the floor. 3 minutes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I've been on this space since yesterday, and I slept off and then woke up again this morning. I've been here since 7 a.m. The whole stories, I think they've been, heart-wrenching to listen to. I would advise, if you are not the type of person with a strong mind, you at times log out and then, come back again. If it's alcohol you take, just clear your head, because I don't know, these things are, they are disheartening. I've had series of encounters since 2015, but then I would, because it's a public space, there are some I would keep private. First of all, Buhari's bad luck started immediately. In fact, immediately INEC was announcing him. I was in my final year in university then. I was holding a post in my department. I was contesting for to become the departmental president. I was a very popular person to win that election. Every person's here who were my classmates then, I don't know, they would actually know that Atulama was a popular person to win the election. But then my HOD was a hardcore good luck Jonathan supporter. Each time he would come to class, so half of his lecture would be about what he came to teach. Half would be about telling us how important it is that we do not repeat mistakes of the past, because part of my course was history. So being a history lecturer, then he knew everything that happened when Buhari was in power. So he would lecture us. So we visited his office, he wanted to see all the contestants. I was in his office. The radio was on when INEC was counting the votes, and then the man, I saw how pissed he was. So angrily, in fact, that it was still not a reason for him to do what he did. Angrily, he screened everybody out, virtually everybody in my lineup. He said we are part of the past administration. Since Nigeria wants change, okay, let this change also reach to every sector. So let new persons enter power. We have held position in the previous administration. There was no need for us to come back again. He was very angry that he put the thing in, even in his lecture, his marking scheme. He was bitter because he saw this coming then, and he was one of those persons who opened our eyes, because I wasn't born in the 1980s, so I knew through him what was going to befall us. So I had to read up on certain things about Buhari, his role in the PTF and all that. So that was actually, it sounds funny anyway. It wasn't a much loss to me, or even though I invested much then. You know what student politics is all about. But then it's by the way. Then a lot of things that happened, I'll keep some private. In 2020, on my way, I stay in Lagos anyway. I was born here as well, but I schooled in the East. So in 2020, on my way from, I was staying somewhere in the Alimosho. On my way to the island, I was working at the island, and I still work at the island, but I'm living at the island now. Along Marina, I was just alighting from bus at CMS. So just strolling down to Marina to take a bus going to my office. I was robbed there, and then one of the popular influencers here, one of the favorite and popular influencers on this Twitter, was we were scheduled to have a meeting with him. We needed him to handle a gig for my office. The next day we were scheduled to have a meeting with him, so he will be a witness to this if he's on this space. So I was robbed. My laptop, not even my laptop, the office laptop, I call i7 Dell. It was, I think that thing was about, when they were telling me how much it was bought in the office, it was like I think 400 something thousand. My own phone, the office phone assigned to me. Immediately I was alighting from the bus. I was robbed. And the worst part is I was robbed in front of people. This is how Lagos is. People will be there, they will watch you. Anything would happen. Nobody will come to your rescue. Anybody who tries to come to your rescue, it could be the end of him. Two bikes loaded with guys with guns. They robbed me, took everything off. The bag where I put the office laptop had documents containing details of the meeting we wanted to have with most of these influencers the next day. So it was just for me I took some things home to wrap up, prepare myself and prepare stuff. And then they took everything, zoomed off with everything, my wallet, everything. I went to the police station but it was just a stone throw to police station. I went to the police station immediately. That was where I rushed to, because people advised me. I was running helter-skelter, no phone to make a call. I rushed to the police station, and what they told me is we wanted them to end SARS, right? We said they should end SARS. This is the answers. I said, at least can I document in case these guys use my my personal items to maybe carry out any activity, any criminal activity. They didn't even allow me to lodge any complaint. No problem. I rushed to a bank. The bank was not open by that time. I had to wait, and then I blocked my my account. So they made away with every other things that they made away with, and my office was able to replace those things. So that was it. And Lagos has happened to me in one way or the other. 2021, I lost my aunt, my favorite aunt, my mom's sister. To the, would I say income? I wouldn't want. Yes, I will mention name. Is Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Up till now, even in the death certificate, I cannot say what exactly killed the woman. I received a call from her on Saturday, stating that she was sick and all that. So I did my bit. I sent her some money. Okay, why not get some treatment and all. The next day, the landlady took her number from me, was calling me. We are moving her to Igondo General Hospital. This. I said, okay. I was at the office. I was at Island. You know what Third Mainland Bridge is like. Talk more of people saying you can make it to that place. So whatever they can do, they can do it. They should start doing it. They took her to Igondo General Hospital. Igondo forwarded her to. They transferred her to, referred her to Lut. They went to Lute. They said she was having a respiratory issue. They have to perform surgery, put pipe in her throat and all that, so she could be able to breathe. A lot of explanation. So I reached out to my mom. My mom said if it's Lute, they should bring her home for her. If she's going to die, she should die in her house. This is somebody of 46 years old. If she's going to die, she should die in her house. They should bring back home. And then my family house is at Ota. So, okay, she was at Ikeja, quite sure. So she as well, reaching to Lute. It was a matter of whoever is there, please just start doing something. We gathered the money we were supposed to gather for surgery. I don't know what they said. Lute, the people at Lute we are doing. That was when I heard that if you are taking somebody to Lute, you have to have connection there for you to be attended to for it quick. But I don't know whatever they are doing. And then they not like the money was not available. The money was gathered. I sent my beat. Everybody got across. We sent whatever we had, and then that was it. The money was gathered, but the surgery was not performed. This woman died like that. I am talking to you that even in the death certificate, I can't actually define the exact thing they wrote in the death certificate. The next day, she died at 3 a.m. the next day, and I found myself, I left work and everything. I didn't go to work. I went there. It took me and my elder brother. We wanted, in fact, even if it took all those policemen that surrounded us there to gun us down, I didn't care, because they were not even attending to us. They were not giving us any tangible talk. They were not telling us, even this to release the cops for us was a problem. We kept paying. We'll pay for this. We'll pay for somebody that has died. And up till now, Lute is still holding our money. I just don't have that. I don't have that strength to start dragging on Twitter, start involving people to rent to drag Lute for me. It has happened. She has died. So even up till now, they took the eldest son of the woman. They took the person. The boy was that was the period they were writing WAEC mock. So he had the exam to sit for that day. They took the boy's number, took the boy's phone number and everything, and then he signed that he was going to allow, and he's actually consenting to another person receiving the cups of the mother, because he was supposed to get there as a first son and one who is of age. They took the account details. They said they are going to remit, like that's reimburse our money to us, since even the oxygen that we actually bought was not used. Till now, we have forgotten about it. There's no need. Once in a while, I'll call the boy. Have you received that money from Lute? I'm asking you so that I want to know. Let me just know that is off my head. Not like I need the money for anything. He will say no, nothing like that. My mom will call the boy, will say no, nothing like that. He has not received the money. And the money, even if he has received it, the money should have gone to the mom's account, because my mom is the one who is in custody of certain things about his sister, both the account, the ATM, and everything. That Lute held the money. Lute cannot explain the reason how the woman died. You gathered money for surgery, you did not perform the surgery. You said you want to put pipe on the throat, and that was how that woman died. I know what we fought that day for them to even attend to us, for ordinary death certificate for us to live with. We paid department by department. We are paying money. And it's not as if I'm paying money to rescue somebody that is going to die. It's not as if I'm paying money for somebody's bride price. I'm paying money to retrieve corpse that's careless, their own carelessness killed. And if we had listened to my mom, maybe that wouldn't have happened, because I was the one that stood ground. I said, no, there's no need there. Everything is not prayer. Forget, bring the cause, bring the woman for you home so that you pray, or take her to Canaan land. And what? Sometimes you just, we follow sciences. And that was it. That was how that woman went like that. Left children. Her husband was already dead, and he was having
Bro,
issues
you
with her.
have like 30 seconds to round up, bro.
Sure. And her husband was already dead. She left children like that. One of the kids is staying with me. You know what it is at my age, and I know what my salary is like, paying for somebody's school fees in the island. Yeah, why? Because they don't have anybody. They were having issues with their father's side at the same time. So what am I saying? Just how many days ago as well, somebody was shot somewhere in Imo State. A mutual friend of mine, they took the person to the hospital. They said the person was alive till they took him to the hospital. There was no blood bank in the hospital. The guy was alive for hours. If you guys heard, some bloggers even took the story. His name is Solo Jackson. He's a mutual friend of mine. He's a dancer. And the guy died just like that. Nigeria has happened to all of us in many ways. We are in Lagos. I've stayed in Lagos for a long time. My aunt was living in somewhere at Ayobo. Many people are in Ayobo shouting Jagaban. Ask them if they have road in Ayobo. It's only in Lagos that you see that somebody wants to cross a bridge. You will pay money just for, as a pedestrian, you will pay money to cross a bridge. It does not happen in anywhere in the East. Cite me to it. It doesn't happen. In Ayobo, you see many Bako or plank bridges cut across everywhere. If you want to cross as a pedestrian, back then when I used to visit out there, you pay 15 naira. As a private car, this thing you pay, you have your own sum. As a truck driver, you have your own sum. Even if car drivers are the ones paying, it would have been different. Pedestrians pay to cross a bridge, but governments know those things. But because the owners of that bridge would influence the government not to come and construct or do those roads, so they are using plank bridge, individually owned plank bridges, because they want people to be paying. I know how much they are making from that place. But people from that same Ayobo will be shouting Jagaban, Jagaban for you, Jagaban, 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 Jagaban for you. It doesn't make sense. If it's violence, we go with violence. I'm not
not saying I'm not threatening anybody, but you bring anything to my timeline, both physically, both in face to face, I will give it to you. My own duty is to sensitize people. Even the security men in my compound here, I sensitize them, do whatever I can to do because they are from Adamawa. Their own ignorance is even excusable. But those ones who are here with us, especially the educated ones, they are not getting anything. The ones who are empowered will not come down the street and drink abo with them. They will not come down there and smoke with them. They are the ones who would shout for them finish. They will enter power. At the end of the day, they would forget about you. So seriously, this is really disheartening. I have a lot of things I have encountered, but that is just it for now. Thank you.